Have you ever wondered what will result if the biggest tech giant of the company today cooperated with the biggest space company this world has ever seen? Apple x SpaceX. This shocking speculation may become reality through a mission that you may not have heard of yet. That is, Inspiration 4. Don't forget to watch today's video to the very end to get the full scoop on Apple's insane new partnership with SpaceX. For this mission, SpaceX flew 4 private citizens to orbit for 3 days, and Apple hardware was key in this first-of-its-kind research study which happened in flight. These products included Apple Watch Series 6, iPhone 12 Pro, and iPad Mini 4, as selected by SpaceX. Monumental importance of Apple x SpaceX partnership. As mentioned, SpaceX planned to send 4 private citizens into orbit on a new 3-day mission called Inspiration 4, and among other things, the crew would have been conducting health research to help further human exploration of space. Inspiration 4 is also noteworthy for being the first all-civilian human spaceflight mission to ever go in orbit, but the team was also expected to partake in another first in the form of a new health research initiative that had hopes of increasing humanity's knowledge on the impact of spaceflight on the human body, and they relied heavily on Apple's technologies to do it. SpaceX worked with the NASA-sponsored Translational Research Institute for Space Health, TRISH, at Baylor College of Medicine and investigators at Weill Cornell Medicine. Researchers tracked and collected biomedical data from the Inspiration 4 crew members using the Apple Watch devices. Inspiration 4, the first all-civilian space mission via SpaceX Dragon. Billionaire Jared Isaacman's privately chartered spaceflight launched on September 15, 2021. Becoming the first crewed orbital mission with no professional astronauts on board. The flight, dubbed Inspiration 4, was named to commemorate the 4-person crew and their associated pillars of support for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee: leadership, hope, generosity, and prosperity. Aboard the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule, dubbed Resilience, Isaacman, a self-described space geek who has accrued more than 6,000 hours piloting various aircraft, was the commander of the flight. Joining him were physician assistant Haley Arsenaults, data engineer Chris Imbrowski, and geoscientist and science communication specialist Cian Proctor. A hopeful journey. Resilience and its 4 occupants circled Earth for 3 days, splashing down off the Florida coast on September 18. The primary purposes of Inspiration 4, according to the mission's official website, were to raise awareness and funds for St. Jude and to begin a new era for human spaceflight and exploration. Inspiration 4 was chartered by Jared Isaacman, billionaire CEOs and founder of Shift4 Payments, a payment processing company that he established as a 16-year-old and which now handles billions of transactions each year. Inspiration 4 is the realization of a lifelong dream and a step toward a future in which anyone can venture out and explore the stars, Isaacman said in a statement. He recalls being in kindergarten at Wilson Elementary School in New Jersey, looking at high-resolution picture books of the space shuttle, Space.com previously reported. "I did tell my kindergarten teacher I would go to space someday, and she said she'd be watching," Isaacman recalled. An unsung hero. Isaacman holds several world records, including a speed-around-the-world flight that, according to the New Jersey local news service, raised money and awareness for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. In addition, he has flown in more than 100 airshows with the Black Diamond Jet team, reported Business Wire. Each of those performances was dedicated to some charitable cause. Inspiration 4 was motivated in part by Isaacman's effort to raise more than $200 million for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, a pediatric cancer research hospital that does not charge the families of children for their treatment. Isaacman pledged $100 million toward the cause out of his own pocket. "I've been very lucky in life. You really don't get to a position that I'm fortunate enough to be in without the ball bouncing your way a couple times," said Isaacman in an interview with Space.com. These families at St. Jude were dealt horrible hands. They're going through what no one should ever have to go through. It's immense heartache, and the sad part is many of those kids will not grow up to have any of the experiences that I've been lucky enough to have in life. We just got to do something about that. The crew, Isaacman, who commanded the mission, donated the remaining 3 seats of his 4-person flight to sponsor St. Jude. The first crew member to join him was Haley Arsenault, 29, a physician assistant at St. Jude in Memphis, who, as a child, also received treatment for bone cancer from the same organization. She was chosen to join the crew by St. Jude, and became the first person with a prosthetic body part to go to space, as during her treatment she received metal rods to replace parts of bones in her left leg. She was also one of the youngest people to go to space and the youngest American to do so, edging out pioneering astronaut Sally Ride by just a few years. Arsenault served as medical officer for the flight. The remaining 2 seats were given away in 2 different competitions. Chris Szymborski, 41, is a data engineer and longtime space enthusiast who once worked as a counselor at Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama. His seat was up for grabs in a fundraiser sweepstakes meant to support St. Jude, but while Szymborski entered the competition, an unnamed friend actually won. The friend then offered the seat to Szymborski, recalling his avid interest in spaceflight and astronomy. Szymborski served as mission specialist and helped manage payload, science experiments, communications to mission control, and more. Proctor, 51, a geology and planetary science professor and science communication specialist, was awarded her seat as winner of the Ship 4 Shop competition. The contest asked entrants to set up an e-commerce site using a platform owned by Isaacman's company, Ship 4 Payments. As part of the contest, Proctor, 51, also recorded a video sharing her inspirational entrepreneurial story and why her business should be elevated to the stars. Proctor's Space to Inspire shop offered postcards and prints of her Afronaut space art, which she uses to encourage conversations about women of color in the space industry. The training timeline. While government astronauts typically spend at least 2 years getting ready for a space station flight, Inspiration 4's training timeline was much shorter. Their mission was shorter than most of those undertaken by professional astronauts, just 3 days in orbit, while many stays on the ISS are now 6 months or longer, and the team had no need for training in space station systems or spacewalks. Still, Isaacman has said in previous report, training for Inspiration 4 drew upon the NASA-approved curriculum to get the new astronauts ready for spaceflight. In April, the Inspiration 4 crew completed their first centrifuge training. Among many other physical trials, that training was meant to prepare astronauts for the gravitational forces they were subjected to during launch and re-entry. Isaacman also carried on NASA's tradition of putting astronauts into isolated, challenging environments before flight, bringing his crew into the mountains. Apple's defining role in it. Apple products played an important role in said SpaceX mission, with Apple Watch Series 6, iPhone 12 Pro, and iPad mini involved in a number of health experiments designed to examine the impact spaceflight has on the human body. Crew of the Inspiration 4 mission performed a series of experiments on human health and performance during the 3-day mission planned at a 575-kilometer orbit, farther from Earth than any manned spaceflight since the Hubble Space Telescope repair, SpaceX had announced. The aerospace firm partnered with the Translational Research Institute for Space Health, TRISH, at Baylor College of Medicine and investigators at Weill Cornell Medicine on the project that collected environmental and biomedical data, as well as biological samples, from the mission's 4 crew members. During the mission, Apple Watch collected research-grade ECG activity, movement, sleep, heart rate and rhythm, blood oxygen saturation, cabin noise, and light intensity. According to SpaceX, readings are also expected to be gathered from the SpaceX Crew Dragon vehicle. Crew members further performed cognitive evaluations with the Cognition app on iPad mini, software that is used by NASA-funded research studies. Apple's iPhone 12 Pro was paired with the Butterfly iQ Plus ultrasound device to scan the crew's organs. The evaluation will help determine whether non-medical experts can use Butterfly iQ Plus's artificial intelligence guidance, which is presented through an accompanying app, to acquire clinical-grade images without assistance from the ground. With that, we end today's video. Don't forget to join in next time for more of such interesting content.